Good evening and welcome to NewsNight. Tonight we'll have your international news such as Canada's parliamentary elections and national news regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. If you're local to Pittsburgh, make sure you tune in for local news about the spin scooters that have been littering the streets. All this and more coming up on NewsNight. Welcome to NewsNight. I'm Addie Deal. The small town of Hagen, Germany narrowly avoided a terrorist attack on a local synagogue during Yom Kippur through an anonymous tip the police received. The tip was received the night before the service in the synagogue, and the service was promptly canceled and police presence was greatly increased. No bombs were found on the property, but police were able to arrest 4 people believed to be involved, one main suspect being 16 years old and of Syrian descent. Police believe that the planned attack could have been from an Islamic group or ideal. 3 of the suspects have been released the day after. However, the 16-year-old remains in police custody. Police have taken mobile phones and hard drives from the suspects that are currently being searched through. German government authorities are enraged by the amount of anti-Semitic attacks in recent times, which have risen significantly. German Justice Minister Christine Lambrecht publicly went against the anti-Semitism, stating it is intolerable that Jews are exposed to such a horrible threat that they cannot celebrate the start of their highest holiday, Yom Kippur, together. Anti-Semitism on the rise in Germany is a great concern of the German government, and the anonymous tip resource has proven to be a good way to combat certain attacks and such. This successful stop to a terrorist attack is good news for the German government and their police. In 2011, NASA stopped sending astronauts to space. However, Elon Musk's SpaceX company just completed their first civilian-only space mission. Reporter Claire Lindsay has more on this story.
SpaceX has had the first space mission to only include civilians, called Inspiration 4. 4 civilians, Jared Isaacman, Haley Arcanu, Sian Proctor, and Chris Sembrowski, spent 3 days in orbit in a fully automatized spacecraft. The civilians were trained extensively, spending 6 months getting comfortable and familiar with what the Inspiration 4 mission entails and the function of the spacecraft they would be using, knowing since March that they would be a part of Inspiration 4. They went into space September 15, 2021 from Kennedy Space Center and came back off the coast of Florida in the Atlantic Ocean on September 18, 2021. The entire plan went without a hitch. Staying on schedule for the landing, the entire mission was paid for by Isaacman, whose idea for the flight was a fundraiser for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital.
This week was Canada's parliamentary election. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has been serving in his position for just around 6 years, but this election could have changed everything. Reporter Nick Konopka has more details about the outcomes of this election.
On Monday, Canada held its national parliamentary elections, which saw Prime Minister Justin Trudeau retain his seat as Prime Minister. His party ended up winning a total of 3 extra seats, putting into question the necessity of the election. In Canada, the Prime Minister has the power to initiate snap elections at their discretion. So, with his polling numbers high, Trudeau saw this year as the perfect opportunity to gain seats. This move seemingly backfired on him when approval for the Liberal Party immediately dropped several points following the election announcement. A possible explanation for this outcome could be that Trudeau's opponent, Erin O'Toole of the Conservative Party, ran a more left-leaning platform than Conservatives of the past. His support for climate policies, LGBTQ rights, and abortion rights are just a few of the issues that separate him from the rest of his party. However, that shift to the left has proven to be largely ineffective, considering that the Conservative Party has just as many seats as when they started. In the closing days of the election, O'Toole emphasized Canadian recovery through the pandemic, while Trudeau touted his party's expansions to social programs. The Liberal Party's message seemingly won out among voters, but Prime Minister Justin Trudeau still has his work cut out for him to implement his agenda without a stable majority.
Coming up after the break, we'll have your national news report. Reporters Aaron Ute has more information on the recent developments with the Pfizer vaccine, and Samantha Hinman will have details about Pittsburgh's Children's Hospital struggle with COVID-19. Stay tuned.
What's one word to describe CAB?
Welcoming.
Community.
Creative.
Experiences.
Family. Openness.
Pineapple.
The Campus Activities Board is a student-run organization that consists of 7 different committees. Each focuses on event planning, marketing, and administrative activities. Join us in organizing the juiciest events on campus, from late-night bingo to festive dances to our team bonding meetings. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Point Park Cap, or like us on Facebook at Campus Activities Board at Point Park University.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Troop alongside Jess Paterchak.
Defending his decision to kick out 15 Cuban diplomats from the United States.
Thanks, Allison. Fitness on Demand has returned to Point Park.
Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption.
Two-star NFL quarterbacks made the headlines this week after wrapping up.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Nick Tomarello, I'm Alex Grubbs. Have a great night.
On Wednesday, September 15th, the Biden administration made a deal with the Australian government, which angered some of the United States allies. The deal in question will allow Australia access to sensitive submarine technology, and in turn, the U.S. will help Australia launch nuclear-powered submarines. This deal is important for Australia since it's its first step towards animosity with China. Australian government officials have never taken direct action against the Chinese government until this deal. This deal, now called AUKUS, includes Britain and is a three-way partnership that focuses on the tension in the Pacific. While this partnership was good news to some countries, it has negative side effects concerning the U.S.'s allies. Specifically, the secrecy of the deal angered France's government. French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian canceled a $66 billion agreement with the U.S. to buy French submarines out of distaste for the situation. Former French Ambassador Gerard Arad tweeted, "The world is a jungle. France has just been reminded of this bitter truth by the way the US and the UK have stabbed her in the back in Australia." The Chinese government was also angered by this aggression concerning the Pacific and alleged that the deal challenged their government. While this deal raises tension with allies, there is no clear outcome for the deal yet. Whether it is ultimately negative or positive, only time and actions will tell. This week, the pharmaceutical company Pfizer has released news that they have been running successful COVID-19 vaccine trials for children aged 5 to 11. With children having gone back to school this month, the vaccine for elementary-aged students is being eagerly awaited. Pfizer experimented by taking 1/3 of the amount of a normal COVID-19 vaccine dose and giving it to 5 to 11-year-olds. After 2 of these shots, the kids had already developed the same amount of antibodies as teenagers, and adults develop with the regular dose shots. Although the data has not yet been peer-reviewed or published in a scientific journal, this is still promising news for elementary-aged kids regarding the vaccine. Pfizer hopes to be approved by the FDA for this vaccine within 1 month's time. Recent national news has been flocking to cover the case of missing 23-year-old Gabby Petito. Earlier this week, major breakthroughs were made in her case. Erin Ute has more.
Gabby Petito, a case that has swept the nation. Petito, a 22-year-old woman from Suffolk County, New York, was reported missing on September 11th while traveling across the United States in a van with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. Her family lost contact with her in late August when she was in or near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming, sending a text that stated Petito was in Yosemite, 900 miles away from Grand Teton. Police say that Laundrie returned in the van alone to his home in Northport, Florida on September 1st. Laundrie's family has refused to let authorities talk to him and have claimed that on Saturday, September 18th, he had gone missing himself days earlier from their home. Police in Florida working on the case have obtained cell phone tracking data for the pair, but still need to secure search warrants to get complete access. According to the investigators in Newport, they have limited access to the information about the couple's movements and are working towards obtaining real-time locations of the phones. However, on September 21st, officials confirmed that the body found in Grand Teton National Park over the weekend is that of Gabby Petito. Her death has been ruled a homicide. The investigation is still ongoing.
Throughout the past year and a half, hospitals have continuously struggled with the amount of COVID-19 patients in their care. Pittsburgh's Children's Hospital is no exception. Samantha Heineman has more on this story.
Hospitals nationwide have been facing the strain of masses of COVID-19 patients for some time now, but the virus has had a recent impact on one demographic in particular, children. According to the Allegheny County Health Department, the weekly COVID-19 case numbers for children ages 5 to 14 has jumped from 100 to 300 in just the past month. The influx of COVID patients has been working in tandem with both nursing staff shortages and a recent spike in out-of-season influenza cases to greatly stress pediatric hospitals. UPMC Children's Hospital Pittsburgh is no exception to this. Emergency Department Chief Dr. Ray Patelli calling this number of children, quote, historic. To help handle the patient overflow, last Friday, the hospital opened up an emergency department tent along 44th Street. The tent, which is fully equipped and staffed, is meant to handle patients with less severe ailments. The hospital clarified in an email that the necessity for the tent is not a sign that the hospital is running out of space for patients, saying, quote, UPMC Children's can take care of any child needing emergency care, end quote.
Known for his songs that contain extremely violent lyrics, New York singer ZILLAKAM released his first solo album, Dog Boy. It was a follow-up to this Duo City Morgue's 2020 album, Toxic Boogaloo, which features tracks such as Hurt World 99, All Killer, No Filler, and Prosthetic Legs. This album also is a follow-up to SUBMARINE's solo album, 13 Songs to Die To, which was released on August 5, 2021. Now, even before being released in its entirety, ZILLAKAM, whose name is Junius Rogers, released multiple singles prior to the release date, including Chains, Badass, feat. Lil Uzi Vert, Frosty, and Not Worth It. Since the debut of the album, ZILLAKAM has released a music video for Bleach, feat. Denzel Curry. In the video, he is seen doing his classic shenanigans, such as drifting his favorite R34 on the street, also recognized in Nissan Only, and continuously dragging a singular cigarette within each frame. The album is now the #1 rock album on Apple Music and is beginning to make waves within the industry, with time only telling how this album will eventually market out and spread through multiple diverse communities is the question that ourselves and Junius are asking. After a short break, we'll be back with all you need to know for Pittsburgh's local news. Find out what's being done with the spin scooter issue that's citywide. Also, Nip Kanopka has more on what Pittsburgh Public Schools official has stepped down. We'll be right back.
The United Student Government at Point Park University, working since the 1970s to solve the issues that matter to you. What concerns do you have about the university? Student life, safety, food service? Send us an email to studentconcerns@pointpark.edu or stop by our office on the 7th floor of the Student Center. You can also attend our weekly open meetings on Mondays at 3:15. Follow us on social media at USG_PPU for more. The United Student Government, by the students, for the students.
The Point Park Sports Network, bringing you live coverage of Pioneer Athletics on Stretch Internet, the home of the River States Conference and the NAIA. Subscribe today for complete access to the Point Park volleyball, baseball, basketball, and soccer teams. Watch live and on-demand broadcasts, and don't miss a minute of Point Park Athletics. Head to pointparksports.com/live for broadcast listings. The Point Park Sports Network, your streaming home for Point Park Athletics.
3, 2, 1.
Please visit our website. Please. It's a nice website. Please visit our website. Please.
If you have ever watched television, whether accidentally or on purpose, YouView is for you.
St. Paddy's Day in September? After being canceled twice due to COVID-19 surges, Pittsburgh finally held their annual St. Paddy's Day parade on September 18th, a sunny and warm day contrary to the normal cold March weather. This year, the parade is labeled the Halfway to St. Paddy's Day Parade. The parade took its traditional route, starting at the intersection of Liberty Avenue and 11th Street at 10 a.m. and concluded at Commonwealth Place. Many excited Pittsburgh citizens lined the streets to watch their favorite celebrations of Irish history be featured in the parade. The festivities included Irish dancing from the Shovlin School of Irish Dance, Irish Wolfhounds, and even St. Patrick himself. There was many more organizations and political figures featured as well, all throwing plenty of candy and green beaded necklaces. The organizers of the parade announced their guidelines via their official Facebook page, saying, "We urge all parade participants and spectators to take proper precautions, including mask wearing, frequent hand sanitation, and social distancing when possible. Most participants and spectators were not wearing a mask, but were socially distant. Organizers expected about 20,000 attendees and about 200 parade participants, and the actual numbers were not far from. While this parade was at an unconventional time of the year, there is still plans to have a normal St. Paddy's Day parade in March of 2022. Organizers are expecting a much larger attendance than this year's parade as well. Overall, the parade was a great success and fun for families and people of all ages. At the start of this year here at Point Park University, students of the LGBTQ+ community have begun to question whether the school's efforts of inclusion are enough. First years to seniors alike have reported multiple instances of being blatantly misgendered or disrespected by staff and students, even after correction. In the first 2 weeks alone, an email was sent out last Monday, September 13th, regarding campus's non-discrimination policy, where they offered training to become a better ally. But many students believe that this was the bare minimum at most and that more can be done. They believe that bringing someone in who is part of the community for an on-ground, up-to-date, reoccurring training would greatly benefit the situation. Being misgendered in class is harmful, and standing up for yourself to correct someone has the potential to make the situation even worse, whether that be one's physical or mental health and safety. Some students have also reported being deliberately misgendered directly after correction, which creates an incredibly toxic environment, which a classroom should not be. Students are not looking for a fight. They are simply looking to work with Point Park staff to create a better, more inclusive, and more understanding learning environment for all. Recently, the superintendent of Pittsburgh Public Schools stepped down for some controversial reasons. Nick Konopka has more on what fueled this decision and what happens next.
Pittsburgh Public Schools Superintendent Anthony Hamlet has resigned following a recent report alleging numerous ethics violations. The report, released by the Pennsylvania Ethics Commission, alleged that Hamlet used district reimbursements to pay for a professional trip to Cuba in 2019, while also going against code by retaining vacation days from year to year. The Ethics Commission also found that Hamlet accepted public speaking fees relating to his job. Hamlet has refuted the claim that his Cuba trip violated the Code of Ethics, but he has still agreed to pay the over $20,000 in damages. Despite these fees, Hamlet is to receive a severance valued at nearly $400,000 in accordance with his contract. The resignation was accepted by the Pittsburgh Public School Board last Tuesday, making Hamlet's departure date October 1st. Despite the soon-to-be vacant position, the district is not in a rush to find a new incumbent. According to reporting by WTAE, the school board's president says that she wants to wait until after this November's elections to begin considerations. New board members will not be sworn in until early December, so it may not be until 2022 that Hamlet's replacement is found.
If you are interested in gender and social justice issues, Just Films Pittsburgh is premiering Season 6 of their documentary series on October 13th. In a sequence of 6 films, Just Films hopes to educate on hot topic issues based on real experiences and healing journeys. The first screening and panel features producer and director Xana Theris's Unlearning Sex, which follows her 6-month journey through sexual trauma and healing, and helps learn about sexual assault and trauma, as well as sex education. Unlearning Sex's screening will take place on October 13th at Chatham University, and you can find more information and register at justfilmspgh.org. The new edition of electric scooters has been all the rage between Pittsburgh tourists and locals alike. However, these scooters have been wreaking havoc for some. Aaron Ute has details on what the city is doing to tame them.
Spin scooters. Love them or hate them. They look like they are here to stay in Pittsburgh, even after strong backlash from Pittsburgh City Council members claiming that they are safety hazards for riders and drivers, as they have been littered on sidewalks, streets, and have even taken up a full-size parking spot. The City Council has been fighting these issues for the last several months, demanding a change for the traffic regulations when considering the low-speed electric devices. Members gave a near unanimous vote to support a proposed outline that would regulate the speed of the scooters and other road rules for the scooters that have now collected over 156,000 trips and 228,000 miles since July 9th, according to Karina Ricks, director of Pittsburgh's Department of Mobility and Infrastructure. The new ordinance would amend city code to mandate that users are at least 18 years old, travel no faster than 15 miles per hour, ride only on streets with a maximum posted speed of 25 miles per hour, and ride in designated bike and pedestrian lanes. Rules administrations say that have been in effect in an executive order signed on July 20th by Mayor Bill Peduto. The Pittsburgh City Council is scheduled to take a final vote on Tuesday, September 21st.
September 15th, 2021 marked the 20th annual celebration of Roberto Clemente Day. With his children and family gathered outside his statue outside of PNC Park, Mayor Bill Peduto presented the key to the city to Roberto Clemente Jr. as well as Louis Clemente. This was to honor their late father and for all he did for the city of Pittsburgh. This became the first posthumously gifted key from the Peduto administration. Besides his amazing baseball career, Clemente also arranged free baseball clinics for children and made many donations to poorer countries. The Pirates front office conducted 2 service projects in the Pittsburgh area that day. They had volunteers spend the day working at the sports fields at Brashear High School in Beachview. They also helped with the Involvement Food Recycling Center in Hazelwood. They teamed up with the mission that continues Hazelwood Platoon for this. Finally, the Pittsburgh Pirates decided to wear jerseys with Clemente's number 21 on Wednesday in the 15th game to further honor him. Coming up after the break, your weekly weather report and a story regarding a breakthrough for the people with Alzheimer's disease.
Go. Go to our new website, uview.plainpark.edu.
Go, 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 go.
Join UView and find your herd.
Be like, join EOP. And 3, 2, join EOP.
I was just saying, grab them now, or else I can stuff.
Yeah.
Join on point with politics.
3, 2, 1.
Join Pioneer Sideline.
It's been a week of highs and lows. With October just over the horizon, Callie Rusumano has your forecast for what you can expect from weather this week.
Thanks, Addie. Let's take a look at today's weather forecast. The high for today is going to be around 69 degrees, with partly sunny skies. Unfortunately for the sun lovers, we'll be seeing more cloud than sun today. On a high note, there's a very small chance of precipitation. The low for the day is hitting in the high 40s. This is the lowest temperature we'll be seeing this week, but it's only a peek into that October weather. Enough about today, let's take a look at the week. Okay. This week is looking a little cooler than we've seen in the past few weeks. The weekend is kicking us off with cool high temperatures in the high 60s. Saturday and Sunday might have a high temperature of 68 degrees. During the week, the temperature is going to inch higher into the mid-70s. However, Wednesday will take a quick dip back into the high 60s. Luckily, we aren't seeing high chances of rain during this week, but we're not seeing much sunshine either. Tuesday will bring on the vitamin C with mostly sunny skies, but every other day this week is either cloudy or partly cloudy. That's all I have for you this week. Make sure you get your light jacket ready and bring out all your fall clothes because October is on the horizon.
A new study shows that a type of oxygen therapy is helping to slow down and even remove the buildup of plaques that are commonly associated with Alzheimer's disease. By using a specific protocol of hyperbaric oxygen therapy, the study from the peer-reviewed medical journal Aging shows that the therapy boosted the functioning of the human brains and has been shown in animal trials to fight the buildup of amyloid plaque that is associated with the disease. Professor Yuri Ashery, lead author of the study, said that, quote, "I don't think this can cure Alzheimer's in humans, but it may be able to significantly slow its progression and severity." And that quote Further studies are needed, but people could possibly start benefiting from this in just a few years." End quote. That's all we have for you this week. Tune in next week for even more Newsnight. I'm Addie Deal, and from everyone here at Newsnight, thank you for watching and good night.